This is normal, especially since you're listening to lectures by some other man. A man always has internal fears. Maybe he's luring my wife somewhere, who knows? This can also happen, so it's normal that he's concerned about you. That's good.
I have a question. How can I become more relaxed? I listen to your lectures, study everything myself. I don't have my own family. My relationship with my parents is very bad. My mother passed away. I only have a father, with whom we're like strangers. My stepmother doesn't even let me into the house. That's how lonely I am.
Women accumulate emotional mental tension constantly, throughout their lives. The older a woman gets, the more emotional tension accumulates in a woman. Men accumulate physical tension. Every person accumulates tension in life. Often people think that the tension they experience is related to doing something wrong mentally or emotionally. This is a misconception. Let's analyze this situation. Suppose a woman feels emotional irritability, a man feels isolation, alienation, tension. It's difficult for him to communicate. He gets tired of everyone, thinks to hell with everyone. I want to be alone. Then attention span decreases. There's a feeling of some inner fatigue. It seems you might be working in the wrong place or doing the wrong things in life. You have a feeling that you're doing something wrong in general. All these feelings mean only one thing, that a person is physically not filled with the energy of nature. They simply lack movement and fresh air. And all these symptoms that I listed only disappear because of this. Today I participated in a TV show. You have a local morning show. I was on television and there was a host. As soon as I saw her, I immediately said that she was in a state of tension. She was surprised how I knew this. I told her that she needs to exercise outdoors in fresh air, move, and she would have the opportunity to relieve tension. She said, I don't know what to do anymore. I've tried everything, but my tension doesn't go away. People tell me maybe I work too much and so on. But in reality, the reason is this. People simply don't know that humans are children of nature, and we receive energy from nature. If we don't move in nature, we lose strength, we lose energy. Today I had the opportunity to walk along the embankment for an hour before the lecture. I walked at a brisk pace, listened to spiritual music, filled with energy. Now I feel very good, despite the travel and everything else.
I walked outdoors in nature today.
You walked for an hour and you felt better.
I feel like I've tried everything. Vipassana, cycling.
Keep moving. You're going through a difficult period in life. 2.5 years ago, Saturn began to strongly influence you. This influence is putting pressure on you, and therefore it seems to you that ordinary methods don't relax you. You need to put more effort in the direction I told you. Your efforts are yielding results. If you weren't doing this, the tension would be much higher. Now you're reducing it by 40-45% with your correct lifestyle. If you do even more, you will reduce it by 80, by 100%, and so on. But as long as the bad period continues, and it will continue for another 1.5 years, the tension will remain.
And how can I restore my relationship with my father?
A woman is an infinite being. As soon as she gets one thing, she immediately wants more. It happens that a person has a very close, strong connection with someone. A person can have a strong connection with their mother or father. A strong connection means common events in past lives, some very close shared fate. Strong connection or shared fate between people leads to a very strong desire to receive happiness from this person. And similarly, that person also badly wants to receive happiness from you. When we badly want to receive happiness from someone, it always leads to conflict. Because people become very vulnerable, very demanding of each other. They develop a strong thirst to have something from the person. And this is the situation you have with your father in your relationship. You badly want happiness from him, you are strongly attached to him, and he feels the same. This means that you want him to behave the way you want, and he strongly wants you to behave the way he wants. And these never coincide, resulting in conflict. What can be done? Such a relationship, when there is a strong attachment to someone, is always very draining. In other words, if you communicate with your father, your energy and mental state will very quickly weaken, you will quickly lose strength. And therefore, the first rule, communicate at a bit of a distance, not too closely so as not to get tired. The second rule, submit to his will, don't want anything from him. If you want everything to be normal, just listen to him and nod your head. Give him joy through your communication and don't expect anything from him, because what you want from him, you won't get it. But when you behave this way, he will soften towards you and then he will unconsciously do what you need. And so you can gradually improve the relationship, but you cannot communicate for long and closely because you will get tired from this and become moody. because the expectations and desires from each other are too strong. Fresh air, prayer, good people. These are the foundation of life. When a person moves in nature, they are filled with health. When a person joyfully communicates with good people, they are filled with social strength. They get the ability to get married or find a job. You need to have many good friends to fill yourself with social strength so that you can give yourself at work. A woman fills social strength through friends, through love for women. When they communicate with each other, she is filled with such strength that gives her the opportunity to get married. To get a job, to work, a person needs social strength. Just as there is physical strength which increases when a person exercises with dumbbells, social strength increases through good people. For example, a woman cannot get married. She should start to help other people, take care of everyone, get the opportunity to communicate a lot with people. When she is filled with such communication, she becomes beautiful. She develops the kind of beauty that gives her the opportunity to get married. When a man is very responsive in his heart, hardworking, behaves very responsively in relationships with people, he is ready to do everything necessary for everyone. Such a person is filled with strength that gives him the opportunity to find a job, and he will be in demand everywhere. Such a person will be noticed and will be hired if he's open to everyone and wants to help. This masculine power gives a person the opportunity to be filled with the energy of luck so that he will be noticed and will be given a job. Thank you very much. I wish happiness to everyone. We have resolved everything about your dad. Social strength is definitely needed by all people. By the way, you lack social strength. You are a bit withdrawn, naturally solitary. You need to try to communicate more with women. I see the initial possibilities, but if you have changed them, then it's great. Your question? Hello, Dr. Torsunov. I'm very happy to see you. See how cheerful and happy she is? Are you married? Yes, thanks to you. When she started behaving like this, immediately all the men lined up. Please sit down. I have a question. I'm getting married for the second time. Already for the second time? Such a proactive life position on this matter. After your lectures. I've been listening to you for 4 years. This is my first time seeing you in person. And fate keeps leading me away. I'm returning to St. Petersburg. And now I've met my husband and we're leaving St. Petersburg again because of my husband's work. He wants to stay with the children. He works here and of course I accept his wishes. But in my mind, I want to return to St. Petersburg. I listen to your lectures, pray. You need to return to St. Petersburg. Who needs him anyway? You're so beautiful, you have so many opportunities. You don't want to leave your husband? No, he's a real man. A real man? Then what can you do? Accept it, buy a house, and live here for the rest of my life. That's it, you've answered all your questions yourself. To help a woman, you always need to show her the path she's thinking about. She wants something in her heart. How to tell her? Let's do it this way. Oh, no, I'd rather not. Then there's nothing to discuss. If you reject this path, consider it foolish, and I think so too, then there's nothing to discuss, because there is a desire that leads a person to ruin. It's clear that there's no point in even talking about it, because it will lead to disaster. Thank you very much. I needed your support. Good. I'm glad if I can help. In the back on the last row. While we're gathering, we're answering questions. You have unusual lectures here. You rarely see this elsewhere. Look, we have something else set up here. This means that after the lecture, there will be a concert for you. Hello, Dr. Torsunov. I'm very happy to see you. I have many questions, but the most important one for today. Yes, we only ask the most important ones, only the most important ones. First of all, thanks to your lectures, I didn't leave my husband. You haven't left yet, right? Good. I didn't leave at all. That's great. The following question. I listened to your lectures. There's very comprehensive material, a huge amount of knowledge, but somehow over time, they get reduced to a set of theses and the knowledge gets lost. That's true. All knowledge always comes down to simple things. I was giving a lecture in Riga, and one woman asked me a question. Another woman says, "Why are you asking? Everything is clear. You need to pray and run." A set of theses. What does one need? A person needs to pray. One needs to be in nature. One needs to communicate with good people. One needs to eat correctly. One needs to forgive everyone. One needs to preserve the family. One needs to accept fate, get used to everything you have in life. One needs to learn to receive strength from God, from people, from nature. These are theses, but the entire lecture is designed to transform these theses into a deep understanding of why all this is necessary. And when a person begins to live this way, their life changes. You just like to study, and when you've studied my lectures for a long time, you feel that there's nothing left to study because you already know everything. That means you know everything I say. And what I'll say next, you already know too, so you're frustrated. You say, Dr. Torsunov, what's the matter? I'm no longer interested in listening to your lectures. You should understand that at some point a person must transition from listening to action. Now it's time for you to devote more time not to listening, but to the practical implementation of what I'm saying. Thank you very much. Be happy, but if your mind wants something new, then listen to other lecturers. I understand that you might prefer listening to me, but your nature is such that you always need something new. You are a scientist by nature, you need to study everything and develop knowledge. So I left the field of education for nothing, right? Yes, your nature is education. You are now receiving education through me. This is also education. Later you will consult other people. Maybe you should start giving consultations to people. Next question. I'm trying to work on myself. It so happens that for my husband, this is his second marriage. You're in your second marriage now? For him, it's his second. This is very difficult for women, but it's okay. We had discord and he also had other relationships. In general, he really loves women, a very amorous person. Yes, and a very brutal man. Women like him. And in your lectures, I heard that a husband is one who takes care of his wife. That's right, but you don't perceive him as a husband. I think every woman in her heart thinks the same about her husband, or almost every woman. He's not a husband. What kind of husband is he really? That's how it is. Because the best husband on earth is God, and it's impossible to find God as a husband. A woman always wants God, in fact. When she marries a man, she sees that he doesn't measure up to her ideal. Because a woman's ideal is God, and it's impossible to marry God. Therefore, disappointment is always inevitable. Men can never be God, they don't measure up. So accept your man as he is. But if he betrays you, betrayal cannot be accepted. You need to accept him as your husband, that he is your husband. If he betrayed you, then keep a little distance. Discipline him. Prove to him that he must make amends for what he did. I don't understand if he has made amends or not, but when I maintain distance, he rebels. Let him rebel, but this is the price a person must pay for what they've done. A man must understand through personal experience in a relationship with a woman that such actions are unacceptable. Only through practice does knowledge enter a man's heart. You won't be able to explain anything with words, it's impossible. For example, I forced him to give up alcohol. Is that normal? That's normal. If he listens to you, that's fine.
Thank you very much.
Listen to me once more. Right now you're rebelling against your husband in your heart. This is right, because he betrayed you, but he's your man. Giving him to another woman is wrong, so keep him for yourself and discipline him. Because women often think, if I'm rebelling against him, then get out. This is incorrect thinking. Why give your man to someone else? Because finding a decent man is very difficult in this world, and you have a decent one. If you give him to someone else, that's your problem. He will easily find another woman, but you won't. We are beginning a conversation with you. The topic is very interesting. Just as a computer has settings like BIOS or something similar, without these settings the computer cannot work. Similarly, people have settings, and throughout our seminar we will talk about these deep settings of human life. If a person has configured these settings incorrectly, or if fate has configured them incorrectly, then life will be wrong. He will feel bad. We'll be discussing that one needs to first learn what is correct and then live accordingly. If everything in a person's life is good, how can they appreciate knowledge? Everything is already fine for them. Why would they need any knowledge? Let's start by studying a little about how the human psyche is structured and where we live. There's a joke about a boxer. Someone asks him, "What do you need your head for?" He says, "I use it to hit with and to eat." He hasn't fully studied his mental structure, what the head is for. This is just a joke. I don't think boxers are as stupid as this joke suggests. The purpose of this joke is to understand that sometimes a person only uses their head for eating, with no other goals. The Vedas explain, and I rely on the scriptures, not on modern psychology, because modern psychology derives its postulates from a superficial understanding of things. I will now share with you an understanding that modern scientific thought has not yet reached, but this understanding provides such a good opportunity to figure everything out. When I rely on it, as I'm about to explain to you, you will literally understand what's happening to you within an hour, and everything will fall into place for you. When you begin to understand what is what, then it becomes easy to figure everything out. Avicenna understood that infection occurs as a result of tiny living creatures affecting people. This was his discovery, and everything fell into place for him. He then understood and told people that they shouldn't go to temples during epidemics. They told him, "You're godless, you're depriving people of God," saying they shouldn't go to temples. But he was simply talking about infection, that people infect each other there, that's all. When you know the reasons, then it's easy to understand what to do. The Vedas say that a person has 3 bodies. The first body is the physical body, which we consider to be ourselves. For example, a husband embraces his wife. She says, "Don't touch me," but in fact he's not touching you, he's touching your body. When the body dies or falls lifeless, you will leave it, and it will rot. This doesn't mean that you are rotting, it's the body that's rotting. You remain alive. A person has 3 bodies. The first body is called the physical body. The second is called the subtle energy body. The subtle energy body doesn't die with the death of the physical body, but it changes significantly during life, and there is also a spiritual body or soul. If a person says, my soul is an incorrect phrase. You can say my child, but my soul is an incorrect phrase because I am the soul. You say I, addressing the soul. The soul is located right here in the area of mediastinum. The soul is always there and it doesn't change. It doesn't undergo changes. It cannot increase or decrease. It has an eternal nature and never dies. The subtle energy body changes. The subtle energy body also has 3 structures. We have already found out that there are only 3 bodies: material body, subtle energy body, spiritual body. We live in this world in the subtle energy body. We perform all actions, all deeds with the help of the subtle energy body. A girl says, I like this guy. This doesn't mean that she likes his appearance. It mostly relates to the subtle energy body. People often don't even think about this. But if they do think about it, they sometimes wonder, why does this happen? A man actually loves a woman's character the most, not her body. If a good character comes with a beautiful body, then everything's great. Therefore, when a girl cannot get married, she needs to change her subtle energy body, not her physical one. She doesn't know what to do anymore to get noticed, but she shouldn't be thinking about putting on makeup. She needs to change her subtle energy body, and then she will be able to get married. The subtle energy body has 3 structures. The first structure is called the mind. It's a kind of mental framework. In Sanskrit, it's called manas. The second structure is called intelligence. It's what changes life. And the third structure is called self-esteem, which is the beacon of our fate. In whatever direction self-esteem shines, that's where a person goes in life. Recently, I gave an entire devoted to self-esteem. Because if people don't know how it works, they don't have a normal life. Study all of this. Study everything about intelligence and mind, too. I also have lectures on these topics. This is a whole big topic, but we will now only briefly touch on all these issues, because all our study will be based on understanding how human intelligence works. Because a person's purpose and human nature concern exactly this question, but we will also talk about other mental aspects. What is the mind? When a person thinks, they think with their mind. When a person's mood manifests, it manifests in the mind. A person's character is also their mind. When people are connected to each other by family ties, they cannot leave each other, abandon each other. This connection is carried out through the subtle body of the mind. People are connected to each other. You'll say, Dr. Torsunov, where is the proof that everything happens like this? The proof is myself, because I can see all this, and you will also see during the lecture that I can see this. For example, today I told a girl that she has a very strong connection with her father. Do you agree with this? Much stronger than with her mother. Do you agree? You agree. You see, there are things that cannot be denied because they exist. These connections can be felt, can be seen. So they exist. Confirmations are needed. Confirmations are needed for any science. The Vedas say that people themselves can become the confirmation. They can become an instrument for studying the psyche. You don't necessarily need some laser devices because the mental function of the mind is so subtle that no wave in this world can be more subtle than the activity of the mind. I'll give an example. When a person thinks about their child who is in America, on the opposite side of the globe, they connect with this person for a fraction of a second. As soon as you think about the person, the connection is established immediately. For the mind, the earth and distance do not exist, it's just emptiness. All this mass of matter and the vastness of distance is emptiness for the mind. And the mind penetrates instantly through this matter and distance in order to connect with a loved one. Our connections work regardless of distance. When a person passes away, they can leave this earth, live in another place. Still, the connection is very strongly maintained. Therefore, when you talk about a deceased person, I feel this connection and understand who you are talking about. I can tell about their character. Sometimes it's even visible how they passed away. The cause of death. I'm not making this up. I'm telling you about what I see, what I know, and what I have been using for more than 20 years. The subtle body of the mind is located in the very center, and in the heart area it has such a mental sphere. This sphere in Sanskrit is called Mohabhaga. In this sphere are all the actions and desires of a person, and the planets that move around us affect this sphere. All planets also have their subtle energy body. These subtle energy bodies of planets interact with us, and this interaction leads to the fact that from our internal mental structure comes some force that affects our entire existence. As I already told you, the time has come and Saturn's energy began to affect you in such a way that you develop mental tension. This tension will last for another year and 3.5 months. Not a year and a half, but a year and 3.5 months. And after that, you will relax. It will become easier for you. But until this happens, you must neutralize this influence through movement. Do you understand? It's very important to understand how all this works here. The soul is inside this little sphere. It looks at the world through the prism of this sphere of fate. That means through the eyes of its mood. If fate is good, a person sees the world in rosy colors. If fate is bad, then in gloomy colors. Bad fate has come. Everything around seems bad. Good fate has come. Everything is good. A person may not even understand this themselves, but this is exactly how it all happens. The mind has 5 senses. With the help of these 5 senses, a person tries to get happiness and knowledge in this world. Happiness is needed for the mind to live because the mind or the mental framework of a person is a structure that fills all organs, all vessels. Everything that exists in the body, all of it needs energy in order to exist. This energy triggers the activity of the nervous system and hormonal functions. This energy is called happiness. Happiness is needed for the whole body to work well. Happiness is also needed for relationships. Without happiness, there is no normal functioning of the body, no normal relationships, nothing at all in life. So a person wants happiness. It is impossible to live without happiness. There are different aspects of happiness and they provide different opportunities, but knowledge is also needed. This is something that leads to happiness. If a person has knowledge and it leads them to unhappiness, then it's not knowledge. It's a false thing. Knowledge always leads to a person's happiness. That's why our senses are called the senses of cognition. The sense of hearing is the most important sense that is connected with intelligence. Therefore, when a person listens, their intelligence or ability to overcome fate changes. A person listens to the sound. Having heard the truth, they change their entire life because their intelligence has changed due to the sound. When a person reads something, their intelligence doesn't change. They read it and assume that it's probably correct. But if a person has heard something, meaning one person who does something can inspire another person and that other person will also start doing it. One woman approached Mahatma Gandhi. He was a holy leader who lived in India and helped the country get free from the English invasion. She approached him and said, "My son has diabetes, but he loves sugar, and I can't explain to him that he shouldn't eat sweets. Please help." He said, "Come to me in a week. I can't help him now, but in a week I will explain it to him." She came back a week later, and he said to the boy, "Don't eat sweets." And he stopped eating sweets. She asked, "I told him 1,000 times, don't eat sweets. Why couldn't I succeed, but you did?" He said, "Because I didn't eat sugar for a week in order to tell him this. And when I told him this, he saw that there was power in my words, that I do this myself, and he began to do it too." This is how intelligence works. Intelligence accepts something from someone if that person does it themselves. But if a person doesn't do it themselves, then intelligence doesn't change. A person talks about the harms of smoking. They say everything correctly, but they smoke themselves. No one will quit smoking by listening to them. Why? Because intelligence doesn't accept such knowledge. Sound transmits not only information, but also power. There is information and there is power. Power comes from someone who follows what they talk about. Remember, this is very important to know. There is the sense of hearing. The next most important sense is the tactile sense. It is also connected with intelligence and mind. If the power of hearing affects the power of intelligence, then intelligence becomes strong due to the sound. Tactile sense affects the purity of intelligence. The purity of intelligence is most manifested in women. And through purity, a woman is able to change her fate. That's why women, since ancient times, have always strived for purity. Purity is the foundation of life for a woman. If she has committed dirty acts and lives in an unclean atmosphere, she won't be able to understand how to live right. She needs purity in her heart in order to live correctly, while a man needs strength. That's why the tactile sense is very strongly connected with women. A woman always tries to dress in a way that feels pleasant to her. She makes sure that her clothes are clean. She makes sure that everything in the apartment is clean. She wants to have a pure relationship with her husband. She doesn't want any manifestation of dirt in anything related to life, because dirt destroys her life. A woman's intelligence is based on purity. Purity gives a woman insight, the ability to foresee situations, and a sense of truth. And even when a woman listens to a lecture, she compares the lecture with her own purity. She thinks, is this really true or is it not? She doesn't analyze anything. She simply compares it with her purity of knowledge, and that's it. And therefore, if you ask a woman after a lecture, did you like the lecture? She will say yes. And if you ask her, what specifically did you like? She will say, I don't know, because all these logical chains are not important to her. What's important to her is that it's correct, and she accepts it and starts living according to what she heard. A man's intelligence affects his strength. What's important for him is the power of knowledge, so that it changes his life. Purity doesn't interest him, so a man doesn't listen to knowledge with his heart, but with his fate. He compares knowledge with his life. When his wife asks, what did you like? A man specifically says what he liked in the lecture. Then he says, I know this. Because his goal is to compare everything with himself. And if he doesn't know something, he says, we'll check this, it's interesting. And the woman says, what is there to check? Everything is already clear. Because she perceives everything with her purity. That's why a man and a woman always have a discrepancy. She tells her husband, you always say that you know everything, you're so smart. She doesn't understand that men perceive the world this way from the position of their experience. He can't just absorb knowledge, rejecting what he knows and updating everything. But that's exactly what a woman does. She comes home and says, now we'll live differently. She updates her knowledge. The man says, she went to a lecture, now we live differently. That's why a man is afraid when a woman goes somewhere, because then he has to change too much in his life. You see how differently the function of intelligence is structured in men and women. When a person keeps their tactile sense pure, they get purity of intelligence, insight, and good intuition. So the sense of sight is no longer connected with intelligence. The sense of sight is connected with the mind, or more precisely with fate, which is why the eyes are the mirror of a person's fate. By the eyes of a person, you can understand what period of life a person is going through, whether it's difficult or easy, who they are connected with in life, how they feel now, how they feel about you, even what the person is thinking about, and so on. The eyes are the mirror of the mind or a person's fate. The next sense is the sense of sight. Keep in mind that the eyes themselves are not the sense of sight. Eyes die with the body, but the sense of sight remains alive. It sees without eyes. This is inner vision and subtle sight. When you sleep at night, you see something, and this is inner vision. Your eyes are closed at this time, but you see something, and this can be a reality that is confirmed. You see in your dream that your child is sick. You go and check and see that the child is indeed sick. This is reality. Or you see that some object of yours is not lying in the right place. And that's how it really is. There is another way to look at the world, and there are even people who have blindness of the physical eyes, but still they see everything and can move. That's how Vanga lived. She saw everything, but with inner vision. She saw not only her apartment objects, she also saw people's psyche, their fate, because inner vision can see more. The sense of sight is important. It shows a person's mood, their fate, character. The next sense is the sense of taste. The sense of taste is connected with a person's subtle energy. When a person eats delicious food, they become filled with energy. What kind of energy? The one that the mind needs. If the mind is engaged in sinful activities, then what kind of energy does the mind need? Bad energy. That's why sometimes a person likes to eat what doesn't bring them spiritual and emotional benefits. This food gives them strength. Because their thinking and their life are incorrect. That means that there is food that gives bad energy, and there is good food. And therefore, what tastes good gives you strength. But if you want to get the right kind of strength, eat not what tastes good, but what you need. And then you will change your character. Character can be changed through food, because food also has character. Everything we eat has character because it's alive. Therefore, a person can eat either something that will destroy their character or improve it. For example, apples give a person optimism. As well as any fruits, all fruits give optimism. All grains give a person good work ability. Wheat, rice, corn give mental work ability, and legumes, beans, lentils, and so on, give physical work ability. Vegetables that grow above the ground give a person calmness, and those that grow underground give a person the ability to overcome obstacles. Greens give a person balance. It's the healthiest food on earth. Therefore, if you have an inflammatory process in your body, you should know that you need to eat greens. This is 100% guarantee to get rid of it. The more greens, the fewer inflammatory processes. Greens give health to a person. This is food that balances a person. Berries cleanse the body. They are designed for cleansing. Milk and dairy food gives love. Milk is the energy of an animal's love for its baby. When a person eats dairy products, it means one consumes different types of love, and so on. I won't tell you about everything so as not to spoil your mood. I can only add that nuts give a person stability. If a person has weak immunity, they have poor work ability, they cannot endure or tolerate something in life, then nuts increase such ability. Sprouted grains, all sprouts give a person work ability, energy to act, physical and mental strength. Spices are also the energy of love. Honey is also love, the energy of love. And meat? It is similar to the Sanskrit word mamsa. Mamsa in Sanskrit. Mam means I. Sa means the same. It means I eat someone similar to myself. Sanskrit is such an interesting language. You can make a lot of discoveries in it. For example, go in Sanskrit means cow. Go means a cow, so you know. We're learning. I will sometimes entertain you to make you happy. Laugh, don't be shy. I will joke with you. Let's move on. The sense of smell is designed for contact with the body. We smell. The sense of smell is designed to smell. What, Dr. Torsunov, are you making up? The sense of taste is designed to make things tasty. Eyes are designed to see. I'm not against these purposes, but I'm revealing the topic deeper now. I'm telling you that the sense of smell is designed to understand what food suits you and what doesn't. For example, animals first smell food and then eat it. I conducted experiments. I plug a cow's nose. Well, this cow knows me. She's not afraid of me, happy next to me. And so she can eat next to me. I gave her a banana peel. Cows love banana peels in India. She was so happy eating. When I plug her nose, she stops eating. Because to eat something, before eating, she needs to smell it. What if it's something bad? She doesn't read the label. Banana, produced in Africa, fresh product. She needs to somehow determine that this is a normal thing. She smells it. She smells, then eats. How to determine that this is a good product? The smell is fresh, light, pleasant, cool. If the smell is warm, unpleasant, rotten, the product may be fresh, but the smell is rotten. It means this product is not suitable for you. There are characteristics. You can take a dish, smell it. If you feel that it smells warm, don't eat it. It's not suitable for you. The smell should be fresh, light, pleasant, cool. Well, at least one of these characteristics, at least one. The same with medicine powder. You take medicine, smell it. If it smells like dust, it's not suitable for you. If it doesn't smell at all, it's suitable. Or if the smell is pleasant, it's suitable. By smell, you can determine everything related to the body. You approach a person, let's say smell. They smell unpleasant. It means you have physical incompatibility. There may be infertility if you marry him. His body is not suitable for you. If the relative you lived with smelled pleasant, then suddenly at some point you feel they smell unpleasant. What does this mean? Should you kick them out? That's it? They're no longer suitable? No, it means that they got sick. The first criterion of illness is an unpleasant smell from a close person. One doesn't know yet that one is sick, but this is the first sign that one is developing some serious illness. If an unpleasant smell comes from a person but it used to be pleasant, it means that one is sick. I'm telling you this for sure, 100% sure. Is it clear? If you're buying an apartment, a woman should go there, sit there. Why a woman? Because if a woman doesn't like the apartment, a man can do nothing. He can even decorate it all with gold. She will still leave from there. Because a woman decides where to live. It's her psyche that tunes into the dwelling. She either accepts this dwelling or doesn't accept it. Therefore, you need to sit down there and just smell this apartment. If you don't like the smell, even if the apartment may be completely new, but it smells bad to you, it means this apartment is not suitable for you. Or you come to some apartment, smell it. You don't like the smell. You shouldn't eat there. They want to treat you. Don't eat, you'll throw up. Food in a place where it smells bad is not suitable for you. You're buying a dog for yourself and you smell it. If you don't like the smell, don't buy it, even if it looks good externally. Smell it first. If you don't like the smell, it means this dog is not suitable for you. You will get sick because of it. There's incompatibility. Is it clear why smell is needed? We need to study more deeply what senses are. Senses are the mental tentacle of the mind. They connect us with this world, and we can use them more deeply. We should study all of this. Let's move on. The mind has two types of energy channels. Some energy channels connect it with internal organs. These energy channels support our entire body. Since the mind is nourished by the energy of happiness and the energy of mood, each organ has its own mood. For example, the heart loves tenderness, kindness. The liver loves stability, the stomach loves love for work, the intestines love calmness. If a person is fidgety or inhibited, then they have problems with the intestines. There's even a joke. If you're fidgety, you'll have diarrhea, and if you're slow, you'll have constipation. And it's true, if a person has constipation, it means they have that kind of thinking. If an employer hires someone for a job that requires quick decision-making, the employer might ask about constipation. If someone says yes, then they shouldn't be hired. In places where quick reactions are needed, for example, if one monitors how planes land, quick decisions are needed there, but a person's mind works slowly. That means the person won't be able to do this job. Once a patient came to see me, I said, "What is your problem?" She said, "Constipation." I said, "Okay, how many times a week can you make it?" "I meant appointments for treatment," she said once. I said, "You need at least twice, otherwise I won't be able to treat you properly." She said, "I can't make it two." We talked about different things. I meant coming to appointments. She meant something else. My assistant told me, "I think you're talking about different things." He realized there was a misunderstanding. Each organ has its own character. And there is another type of energy channel which is not connected with our body but connected with our life. These energy channels are called nadis. These channels go outside and connect people with each other. A marital union is formed, not by marriage registration, but by the fact that these channels are fixed. If you lived with a person for a year and then left them, then this person will suffer greatly, as if their life was destroyed, something was torn out of their heart. This means that you will be responsible for this, because whatever we do in this life, everything is stored in this mental sphere, and then we receive the consequences of what we did. Even if we no longer remember it, even if it was in a past life. A person has three main energy channels. The first is called sushumna. It runs along the spine. It is associated with the desire to live. Some people live short lives, others live long, and life expectancy depends on the desire to live. How is this connected? If a person wants to live, it means they want to move. If a person runs, exercises, fasts, does some healing practices, then they will definitely increase their life expectancy. And their sushumna, this central channel, is activated by this. But if a person lives a lazy life, their life expectancy is reduced, and they thus pass away earlier. If you want to live, live. Sushumna means the desire to live, it means movement. On the sides of the sushumna, this central energy channel, there are two very important channels that are related to today's topic of our conversation. One channel on the left side is called Ida, and the other on the right side is called Pingala. The channel on the left side, which is Ida, is responsible for tenderness, kindness, close relationship, love. This channel is responsible for a person's warmth, reciprocity, desire to care for others, generally for relationships, close relationships. It's responsible for family. It's responsible for family feelings. And the second channel, which flows on the right side, is called Pingala. It is responsible for a person's stability, for their workability, for firmness of character, for responsibility, for determination, for courage, bravery, endurance, patience. We'll return to these channels later. Now let's move on. So we have generally analyzed the mental structure of the subtle body of the mind. We also have the subtle body of intelligence. The subtle body of intelligence is directly connected to a person's consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is the energy of the soul. The soul has energy, just as the sun has sunlight. The soul is surrounded by three components. The first component of consciousness is the desire to live. Every soul wants to live forever, meaning it wants to live eternally, and does live eternally, but it will not live forever in this body. But since it identifies itself with the body, it thinks that I am this body, so the soul wants to live forever in this body. In the groin area of a person is the center of intelligence, which is associated with fear, fearlessness, with stability in life, restlessness, and so on. This intelligence works the same way in women and men. Everyone wants to live. All people on earth want to live. The next type of consciousness of the soul is called the desire to love. All people on earth want love. No one wants to live without love. The desire for love or the desire for happiness is the same thing. This desire is in another center of intelligence, which is located in the heart area. Here in the heart area is located the intelligence that is responsible for the desire to love. The soul has a third type of consciousness, which is called the desire to know, to understand what is happening. And this desire to know or understand things is located in the head area. Here in the head area, the desire to know is located. Know that when the soul wants love, harmony, tenderness, happiness, good relationships, family, and so on in the next life, then it is born in a female body. The female body is distinguished by the fact that its Ida Nadi, this energy channel that flows on the left side, which is responsible for tenderness and relationships, is 3 times more active than in men. And they also say that the left side of the body is the female side in both men and women. The left eye is also female. In every person, tenderness comes from the left eye and will comes from the right eye. Look at any person. Observe the emotion in the eyes. You will see that tenderness is in the left eye and willpower is in the right eye. It's not the combination of sperm that determines the gender of a child, but the desire of the soul. The soul's desire arranges the chromosomes in such a way that they create, for example, a female body. There are no coincidences in this. If you want love, you are born as a woman. So a person is born in a female body. She wanted love and harmony from the very beginning. But at school she was told, love and harmony are not possible without a car. You need a car. You need to get a profession first. They brainwashed the woman. She needs love, tenderness, and harmony. She was born in a female body for this purpose, but they explained to her that she needs a job, social status, and so on. As a result, what happens? Her energy channel Ida Nadi weakens. And it is also responsible for hormonal functions, for beauty, and suddenly her periods become painful and she thinks, why does everything hurt and nobody looks at me? It's because you went the wrong way. You want work, career growth, you don't want family, tenderness, love, beauty, and therefore everything in your body began to change. If the soul wants to overcome fate, gain knowledge, overcome difficulties, establish itself in life, become strong and develop, then it is born as a man. The energy channel Pingala in the male body works 3 times stronger than in the female body. Therefore, the male body differs greatly from the female body from early childhood. Often a mother is surprised that her boy runs and falls, hitting his head hard, and then gets up and continues to run as if nothing happened. His male body is like iron. That means that it doesn't react to impacts. She spanks her child to punish him, but he endures it. Her hand already hurts, and she asks the child, doesn't it hurt you at all? And he replies that it doesn't hurt. The male body is very different from the female body. It doesn't hurt, it can endure. The husband says to his wife, let's go swimming in cold water. She says she won't go. He can't even imagine how difficult it is for her to stay in this cold water in a female body. For her it feels like being burned, while in a male body it's fine, nothing terrible. The body depends on the mind. If the mind is filled with the energy of love, then the whole body softens, becomes tender, vulnerable, sensitive, and so on. If energy goes into a body that is woven from willpower, determination, strength of spirit, and so on, then the body becomes strong, powerful, enduring, and so on. This is how the body is formed, under the influence of a person's energy, and energy depends on desires, so if a person wants strength, victory, then one gets this through the body. And if one wants tenderness, love, and beauty, then one also gets this through the body. So a woman wanted tenderness, love, and beauty, but changed her mind. Her body is already formed as a female one, but she wants to do boxing, karate now. That's strange. One should desire what God has given. Otherwise it means that the person is not going the right way. You have to do what you are good at. Human intelligence has 3 centers. What is intelligence? It's a mental structure that gives a person happiness. Feelings give a person happiness, let's say. A person saw something, liked it, then maybe one will get it, or maybe not. Happiness is possible if you get what you saw or what you heard. Feelings can claim more. They want what they saw or heard, like a small child whose intelligence is weak. Children are influenced by feelings. They can see something and immediately want to take it for themselves. If you try to take it away from them, they start crying, as they have already begun to experience happiness from this object. They mainly experience happiness through their feelings. What to do with them? The only way is to switch their feelings to another object of happiness. If you give them another object of happiness, they drop this one and grab another. That's it. They have already completely forgotten about that object. You think, how can this be? It can be so because they have no intelligence. It doesn't work yet. Only their feelings work. But if only feelings work in an adult and intelligence doesn't work, then this is a problem. A person wants ice cream. The intelligence says that you shouldn't eat late in the evening. You'll get sick. And one definitely gets sick. Intelligence warned you. You've been sick many times because you ate ice cream late in the evening. Or intelligence tells a woman, don't look at married men. But she still liked a married man. Well, then suffer. Now you won't get married. Here intelligence is needed, as it turns out, not just feelings. So what is intelligence? Intelligence knows what is good and what is bad. If a person doesn't want to follow this, it means one is stupid, unreasonable. Next, intelligence chooses a goal in life. The goal gives a tremendous source of happiness. It's incomparable to wanting ice cream. It gives happiness for a person's entire fate. Let's say a person wants to build a house. One builds a house and always thinks about it. Now my house has become a little higher. Now I can sleep peacefully. And if the house is not being built, one cannot sleep peacefully because one believes in the house. This is a person's life goal from which happiness comes. A person experiences the greatest happiness when the house is being built. But if, for example, the construction company went bankrupt, then one falls into depression. Because the purpose of life has been trampled, one thinks of the house and feels bad because one can't think of anything else, since the house was the person's goal. The person would like to think about something else, but one only remembers the house that is not being built and thinks, I'll go kill this person who ruined my life. They didn't ruin anything in your life. They just had bad luck and couldn't build your house. And you think that your whole fate is connected with this. Why? Because you chose the wrong purpose for your life. Today a girl asked me, Dr. Torsunov, why do we live? Why was this world created? These are the right questions. This means that your intelligence understood what to ask about. Most people don't ask such questions at all. A person chooses as the purpose of their life what they saw and what they liked. A girl gave birth to a child. She liked the child because purity and love emanate from them. She saw the child and chose the goal, to live only for this child. Or a man saw a girl, and as the song goes, I remember black eyes, I'm dying, I only dream about you. Black eyes, the most beautiful black eyes, this is the purpose of life. This is very unreliable because she may be next to you today, but not tomorrow, and you chose her as your goal in life. Then your fate will be trampled, and it will take several years to change the purpose of your life, and this period of change is called depression. What is depression or stress? Stress is the beginning of depression. What is it? It's when you don't see any happiness in life. Because you believed. You can simply love a girl, you understand? That's the difference. But you believed in her, you believed. This means that it will only get worse. You believed in a girl, so if she's not with you, and most likely she won't be with you, because that's a different topic already. We won't talk about that now. But if you believe in her and she's not with you, you'll lose your life. You'll have nothing to live for. Because a person in their life moves toward their goal. What is intelligence? It's like a guide, you see. Intelligence is the force that leads a person through life, and whatever goal a person has, it leads them toward it. Therefore, if a person has lost their goal, they are destroyed as a personality. What is memory? It's the main function of intelligence and fate. Fate acts on a person through memory. When fate emerges, a person begins to remember and then desire something, and through this, their fate acts. That's how it is in life. About memory. If a person has chosen some goal in their life, their memory may not yet work the way they want it to. Because we can consciously choose a life goal, but our fate has previously chosen something else as the purpose of life. When a person is relaxed, does nothing, memory always switches to the purpose of life. Whatever is the purpose of life, a person begins to dream or think about their purpose in life. There are life purposes that overcome fate, and there are those that destroy fate. We will briefly touch on this topic today, but we will talk more about something else. We will talk specifically about intelligence today. So intelligence has a purpose in life. This is the strongest fulfillment for a person. Determination, enthusiasm, desire to do something, good mood, all this comes from the purpose of life. If a person is fulfilling their life purpose, they have enthusiasm, they have determination, they have willpower, they have the ability to be in a good mood. But if they are not achieving their life purpose, then all of this is destroyed. No mood, no enthusiasm. Let's say a girl wants to get married and she has made this the main purpose of her life. What does this mean? We are studying knowledge with you now. We are already talking about the end result. What is knowledge? It's what you see, the end result. If a girl has made marriage the highest purpose of her life, it means that she is chained with all her consciousness to men. And since they are not around, she becomes exhausted, loses herself, becomes unattractive. As the song says, "Oh, you silly girl, how thin you've become. I will surround you with care." She replies, "I don't want anything." There is such a cartoon. There's a princess who fell in love with a troubadour and immediately lost weight. A woman who is attached to men cannot get married because she should be attached to love for people, to happiness. She needs to become happy, cheerful, and then she will become beautiful, and beautiful girls are needed by everyone, and they then get married. But if she wants to get married, she cannot, because she becomes unattractive, and even if she meets a man, she loses herself. Yesterday, a woman came up to me and said, "Dr. Torsunov, I cannot get married." I told her, because when you meet a man, you lose yourself. You start fidgeting in front of him, flattering, you start humiliating yourself. She said, "Exactly, how do you know?" I said, "Because that's your purpose in life. Your purpose in life is to get married. This means that you will not get married." She said, "How can I understand? How should I mentally set myself up? How will I feel when I definitely get married?" I explained to her, at the moment when you are satisfied with your love for people, relationships, and you feel good without men, at that moment you will become beautiful and people will start looking at you. And at that moment you will get married. How can a woman determine when she will get married? When it's no longer necessary, that's when she will. Although she wants it, she no longer needs it, she feels good anyway. At that moment she will get married. Because her feelings will not pull the object but will attract the object. Feelings can pull someone, and this will be unpleasant. But if you give love to everyone, rejoice with everyone, then everyone feels good. We are studying how to live. This is a serious science. There is intelligence. You need to correctly maintain your intelligence, otherwise your life will be destroyed. How not to get attached to men if you want to get married. For this, you need to learn to set higher goals in life. If you love nature, love good people, love God, fill yourself with all this, then you don't depend on a man, you become beautiful. You need to choose the right goals in life. If you choose those that you want, then you will get a different result, exactly the opposite. And this result affects your mind so strongly that many years will pass, and you will still remember the person who left you. And why did he leave you? Because when a person turns love into belief, that means love becomes faith. You believe and nothing more. Nothing means nothing. Gardens bloom once a year, right? You believed, but you should have just smiled at the man. You should have enticed him. But you believed in him. That's it. Moreover, later, after many years, you will still see that it all remained in your heart because you did not choose the right purpose in life. And when you correctly choose your purpose in life, your highest purpose in life, only then can the stress from being abandoned be destroyed in your heart. If you believe in a person instead of God, they won't be able to handle it. Let's say you believe in your son. A mother loves her son deeply, believes in him. He can't be around you. He gets exhausted. He has no strength. My mom calls me, "Son, are you going to Ukraine again?" I say, "Mom, there's no war there. I'm just going to Kiev." "Mom, oh, don't go to Ukraine. How are you feeling?" I say, "Mom, I'm fine." And so on. And my strength is already running out. I can't talk anymore because Mom depends on me, believes in her son, not in God, but one should believe in God. Mom says, "I'm proud of you, son." I say, "Mom, one should be proud of God." If you feel that your child doesn't want to communicate with you, it means that you have the wrong faith. If you see that your child is growing up selfish, throws tantrums, drives you crazy, it means that you have the wrong faith. You believe in the child and therefore you spoil them. Therefore, have the right faith and your child will immediately become good. Let's move on. Intelligence is a power that has a purpose in life, has faith, has inspiration, has determination, has knowledge, has responsibility, has purity, responsibility in men, purity in women. Intelligence is a power that generates loyalty in women or commitments in men. A woman asks her husband, "Are you faithful to me or not?" He doesn't understand what you mean. He is responsible for you. That means he has responsibility to you and to the child. He doesn't leave not because he is faithful, but because he is responsible for you, while a woman is faithful. What is faithfulness? It means that in her mind she thinks, this person is given to me by fate, and I don't need anyone else besides him. Now look, if a woman thinks, I could find someone better, if she thinks like this, then the desire to cheat appears in the man's mind. A woman keeps her husband close to her through her faithfulness, because when a man looks into the eyes of a woman who is faithful to him, through this gaze the energy of happiness enters his heart. A woman's psyche is woven from love. A man lacks love, and for her to transmit love to him, she must be faithful to him. She looks at him with eyes of faithfulness, and he immediately feels good. He doesn't want to leave her because he receives happiness. If she looks at him without faithfulness in her eyes, he doesn't receive happiness. As a result, he becomes exhausted over time. He has a lack of love energy in his heart, and others react to this lack of love energy. Every woman has an indicator inside. She looks at men, and she has only two indicators in her head. First, good guy, good, bad, good. Second, lack of love. Your man can be lured away if you think that I could find someone better. The knowledge lies in this. Study it, it's important. The purpose of life is a person's core. They live it. Since people don't understand what should be the main core in life, most people believe that the purpose of life should be activity. You all came to this lecture because of this. You say, Dr. Torsunov, we've been sitting in the lecture for an hour and a half, and you haven't said anything on the topic of the purpose of a person, and we came here for this. I'm explaining to you that the purpose of a person is love for God. If a person doesn't love holiness, God, or purity, then there's no need to think about anything else, because they will just get confused. The highest purpose of a person is the highest happiness. Let's say a plant grows under a light bulb. It seems normal, everything is good, but the fruits later are tasteless, they taste like plastic. But if it grows under the sun, then the apples are tasty. Similarly, a person can grow doing their work. They like to work, everything is good for them, but deep happiness won't enter their heart. Because just as plants receive the deepest happiness from the sun, in the same way a person receives the deepest happiness from God, or from holiness, or from purity. You say, our life is not pure enough. We live superficially. This means there is no spirituality in your life, no holiness, no purity, no depth. This is a very serious, deep topic. I won't elaborate on it now, because your desire to find yourself in activity is correct. There is a higher purpose in life which is the core of a person's life. If a person doesn't have the highest purpose of life as their core, they will definitely be stressed out because everything else is temporary, and it will definitely destroy you. Therefore, stability in a person's life comes from God. A woman says, Dr. Torsunov, I can't handle my husband. Because you are too attached to him. Why? Because you believe in him. And who should you believe in? You should believe in God. If you believe in God, then you can easily give your love to your husband. But your self-esteem, the third mental structure, is called self-esteem, or the sense of yourself as a person. It will not suffer. You won't humiliate yourself before a loved one if you are filled from a higher source. There is a higher purpose in life. It nourishes all other purposes. And if it doesn't nourish them, then all other goals will be destroyed because you start to depend on them too much. The highest purpose of life is spirituality, self-improvement, you can call it that. There are also vital goals. Without them, life is difficult or almost impossible. What are the vital goals in life? First, health, strange as it may seem. Without health, you can't work, can't give birth, can't get married. Health is a vital purpose in life. People don't know this. They don't put health on a very high pedestal in their lives, and therefore they lose everything because they lack health. Some women destroy their families because they don't have the strength to live with their close person. This means there's no health, or to be more exact, one has a wrong lifestyle. Learning and education are also vital goals. If a person doesn't get the right education, they don't know how to live, where to work, can't get a job anywhere, they're ignorant. A vital goal is also a person's activity, their work. Family and children are also vital goals. All of this is very important. But this is not the highest purpose of life. All these goals are nourished from the highest purpose. If you don't have faith, you won't be able to help your children. You won't be able to keep your job. You won't help your husband, and you won't be able to be healthy either. I've just outlined the postulates. I won't explain them deeply now. That would take an entire lecture. I'm just telling you now what's right, and it's very important to know that between God, meaning the highest purpose of life, and work, a woman has another goal. For a man, the highest goal in life comes first, then his development in work is in second place, and then family is in third place. And for a woman, spirituality comes first, which then gives her family and then work. If a woman gets it mixed up, if work comes first for her, then she won't have a family. The same goes for a man if things get mixed up. If spirituality comes first for him, then family, then he won't have work. Family for a man literally means a woman. If a man thinks about women, it means he's not developing at work. He becomes a doormat, and women don't need such a man at all. Women need someone who has work ability, is hard-working, and that's why a woman looks at a man. If a man who is a wimp approaches the woman, she thinks, no, anything but that. Is that right, ladies? Yes, if she sees that he's stable in life, his work is important for him, he's responsible, a serious person, she thinks, oh, he's a good man. But if he sees a woman and completely melts, it's disgusting for a woman to even look at such a man. Such a person is not interesting. Or a man sees a woman, let's say, and she's not feminine at all, not interested in family, such a businesswoman. He looks at her and thinks, who am I going to live with? I actually need a wife, children, but she seems somewhat immature in these matters. In one movie, a weak man who reacts to women and a businesswoman naturally meet. Because when a woman puts work above family, she always becomes stable and strong in life. She has an apartment, a car, a job. She's so cool. And independent accordingly. What normal man needs an independent wife? He'll go crazy with her. He's independent himself. Two independent people repel each other, like identical charges repel. What kind of wife does a strong man need? What kind of woman? One who looks weak. But that doesn't mean she's weak. Actually, that is a strong woman. And if she's so strong, then what kind of man does she end up with? A weak one. He thinks, oh, this is the wife I need. She has a job, a car, everything. I don't have anything. We'll manage somehow. Well, she certainly didn't expect that he would think this way. How does she see it? She thinks, I need a gentle, affectionate man. Another type won't tolerate me. And she gets such a gentle and affectionate one. Honey, don't irritate me. But he doesn't want to work. Because she wanted such a man, her goal was set incorrectly. You get the man that you deserve, that's it. If you want to get a normal one, then family should be in second place in life. Realize this and become feminine. Become beautiful, kind, loved, and learn to tolerate strong, willful, serious men who strive for victory. And then everything will be fine in life. Set your goals correctly. Do you feel the importance of the topic, yes? Mostly, all people learn from their mistakes. Most people believe in people. This means that unhappy love is inevitable. Because whatever a person believes in, who is the main source of their strength? If a person believes in people, it means that another person is the source of their strength. And what happens as a result? If I believe in a woman, then I completely lose myself in a relationship with her. I become weak because this is your faith. What you believe in becomes your source of happiness. You don't take care of the person. Why does a man take a wife? So that she would rejoice at him, experience happiness, but she always believes in him. Naturally, he begins to be proud of himself, bossing her around, and this leads to humiliation. And a humiliated person is unattractive. When self-esteem goes down into humiliation, a person becomes unattractive. That's it, he leaves this woman because she is unattractive to him. Beautiful means self-sufficient. It means she doesn't lose herself in the relationship. She doesn't believe in the man, but in something higher. Let's move on. Every person has certain stages of development of intelligence, and these stages of development of intelligence determine how a person will live. I'm now telling you about deep settings related to your purpose. We're talking about work now. Do you want to hear about work? Listen, let's say a woman has the right goals in life. A man has the right goals. Now we want to find ourselves in activity, in work. This is also good. A person needs this. So that a person works and becomes happy. Let's figure out this issue. In order for a person to be happy at work, a person must first understand that in a certain state of intelligence, a person will never be able to be happy at work. In a woman, this state is called dream. There is a certain type of woman whose intelligence is undeveloped. This means that her psyche works that way. She is a princess on the pea. Think of that image. She is a dreamer. She wants everything in her life to be good and constantly thinks about it. Well, how is she different from a developed girl? A developed girl cares for everyone, helps everyone, but a dreamer usually has almost no communication with girls, no husband, and somehow no work either, she says. It's hard for me to work everywhere. Why is it hard for you to work everywhere? Because you are not awakened as a woman. You have no strength. You get tired at this work. Everyone teaches you. You have very strong sensitivity, and you are not adapted to this world. And in general, no one understands you here in this world. It's very bad and hard for you to live. Because your female intelligence is not awakened. How to awaken female intelligence? Listen to me. You shouldn't go to work. You need to go to a needlework club. And so on. You need to dance, draw, sing. Female intelligence is awakened through creativity, relationships, and communication with women. You need to participate in some social programs. Feed children, feed the poor, birds, and so on. The female intelligence is awakened through activities that are related to creativity or love. And when a woman has succeeded in this activity, has become strong, has taken an active social life position, then the next stage for this woman is her own body. After she has awakened as a woman, she should start a healthy lifestyle. She has become socially active. She likes to care for people. She loves everyone. Now she should go to the gym. Start running, jumping, doing exercises, because this is also necessary. If you are a woman, you should know that your body will always be lazy and sick. A female body, if you do nothing with it, it only gets lazy and sick. It has nothing else to do because it is relaxed by nature. Why is it relaxed? Because what was a woman born for? Men, do you know? This knowledge will be very bitter for you to hear, men, because a woman was born for happiness. And a man for victory. This is bitter for a woman to hear. Therefore, if you oppress a man, don't let him feel like a winner. It means you envy the male birth. And if a man bullies a woman for eating sweet foods, sleeping more, or communicating more gently with her friends, it means he envies the female birth. A woman was born for love, for happiness, and a man for victory. And therefore, you need to encourage him. You need to look at your man as a winner in advance so that he feels good. If you want to bring a man down, then tell him, "You're not a winner to me." Similarly, if you want to bring a woman down, say, "You're not beautiful." Well, that's the end then. You've brought down someone close to you, so there will be no more happy life. A woman needs to be told that she is the best, the most beautiful, and that's how it is. If he says so, she will blossom next to him. And a man needs to be told that he is the strongest. He's okay, he will change. If you speak like this, he will become a strong husband, and you will see how he matures before your very eyes. So 2 stages to awaken a woman. At the first stage, she needs to be engaged in creativity, art, painting, something interesting for you, and so that besides dreaming, you start doing something. Mom says, "Daughter, go cook something." "Mom, I don't want to." This is the same story. Or, "It's hard for me, Mom," or, "Mom, I'm not in the mood." But if she's joyful, she answers, "Oh, Mom, I'll cook right now." She loves everyone. She has friends. She is so happy. She does exercises. Before going to work, do exercises first. Otherwise, you won't have the strength to work. You won't have health either. The next stage for a woman is to strengthen her health because the body is relaxed, doesn't want to work, wants to be sick. So a woman has 3 stages of illness. A married woman has 3 stages of illness. Remember, write it down. The first stage is called sick. The second stage is very sick. The third is widow. The man died and she's still sick. This is a joke. Why is a woman constantly sick? Men ask me, "Dr. Torsunov, I don't know about everyone else, but my wife is constantly sick. I'm already fed up with it." Raise your hand, men who have such a situation. Well, probably everyone. Do you know why your wife is constantly sick? Because her body is relaxed, wants happiness, and a relaxed body always gets sick. Only when there is strength can a person be healthy. Therefore, a woman must force herself to move, otherwise she'll be ill. No matter how you justify it, Dr. Torsunov, but we are women, understand us. I understand. That's why I'm saying, first creativity, then physical exercise. Now, an unawakened man. Who is an unawakened man? What does he look like? We're creating an image. An unawakened woman is a princess on a pea. An unawakened man is a couch potato. You've seen a man like that, one who is not awakened. He's a good man, and he says, "I don't know what to do with myself." You'll never know. You don't need to think about what to do now. You need to get out of this state. In this state, a man's intelligence is not able to force himself to do anything. He's not awakened. He has no strength to work. He can justify it with anything, that a job that suits him hasn't been created yet. He can tell you anything. A man loves to feed women a line. Study this topic, and he himself believes in this nonsense. He creates a theory about why he can't get a job. I'll tell you why. Because he's not awakened. What does this state gradually evolve into? Remember, if a man doesn't get out of the couch potato state, he starts drinking. This means that development has already gone in this direction. A woman's state transforms from dreaming into depression. She doesn't want anything at all anymore, not marriage, nothing. She kind of freezes periodically. She becomes depressed. Then further from depression, a woman ends up in a mental hospital, which is already a more developed stage. This princess on a pea ends up in a mental hospital, a madhouse, because first a woman is a dreamer, then she's in depression, and then already in a mental hospital, because her psyche can't withstand it and breaks. A man doesn't end up in a madhouse, he ends up in a sobering house. His last stage is there. So, what to do? Just as a woman can pull herself out of this trap through creativity and then further a healthy lifestyle, physical exercise, and daily routine. Similarly, a man can pull himself out of this trap through sports. A woman starts with creativity and ends with sports. And a man starts with movement. What kind of movement? Well, choose for yourself. If you like to hit faces, go into boxing. If you like to run, run. If you like to lift dumbbells, barbells, and so on. Do what you like. From this, he begins to become a person, because when you start to move, start doing sports, you get to the next stage. Before finding a job, find yourself a hobby first. This won't be a job, there won't be any money there, but you will be busy. It will be interesting for you, well, let it be your garage. Tinker with the car there. Do you understand, ladies? Be patient with your man. He's not working yet, not earning money, but he went to some sports club, does boxing, that's great. And then some favorite activity appeared. He's doing something useful, maybe not entirely useful, but doing something. Well, this is not sitting, playing dominoes, not gambling, not computer games, but some action that brings some benefit. This is called a hobby. Watching movies is not a hobby. Sitting eating all day is not a hobby. Sleeping is not a hobby.
Fishing?
Fishing is already a hobby. A hobby means that something comes out of it, some benefit, however small. Only after this, when a man has become athletic, physically activated, he has developed a potential for creativity. Only after this will he be able to start working. So, my dear friends, let's analyze. Are you not tired of me? Is everything okay? Let's analyze the 4 stages of a person's development in activity and how it actually works. For a woman, the first stage, as you know, is creativity. She likes to sew, embroider something, and sometimes women tell me, Dr. Torsunov, I really like embroidering. Can I earn money from this? I say no. Why? Because this is the first stage of activity. It doesn't bring money. It's called a hobby. And how does it work? You really like it a lot, but no one else likes it. You painted a picture and you say that the picture is beautiful. Beautiful for you, but when you try to sell it, you'll find out that it's not beautiful to anyone else. Or you like to knit woolen socks, they're just great, but no one else likes them. Or rather, they don't need them badly enough to pay money for them. Dr. Torsunov, won't people buy these socks? They will, but not enough for you to live. Do you understand, dear friends? A hobby doesn't bring money. But this stage of development is essential. For example, a young man got interested in chess, some collecting or something else. Let him be interested. This is normal because this stage needs to be passed. A person needs a hobby to reveal their potential. For a woman, hobbies are singing, dancing, and other things. This is good. There should be a hobby. Women can also have hobbies like educating someone, cooking, for example. Everything that a woman is made of is her hobby. Healing people, caring for people, cooking, taking care of children. These are hobbies for a woman, but they won't bring money. You do this because you like it. And in the process of this enjoyment, a person's intelligence gradually develops. When can a person find a job? This is a very serious question. When will a man find a job? Remember, when a man learns some activity, it's better, of course, already while working, not as a hobby. Well, start doing something. If you don't like anything, it's okay. I'll explain now. Go work wherever God sends you. This concerns men. Go work. It doesn't matter where. It's important that a certain function of consciousness turns on, which will lead you to your favorite job. What is this function of consciousness? Men, listen carefully. You just go somewhere to work and don't leave this job until you start feeling good there. So you work and everything is great. You've gotten used to this job. You simply like working. And at this moment, when you've come to enjoy working, even if they pay little money, at this moment, an amazing function will appear in your psyche. You'll feel that you can do better than this. Before this, you don't know, but when you've come to like doing this, you already feel good at this job. Everything is great for you. Everything works out. That's when you'll feel that you can do even better. And at this moment, a person jumps to the next stage of development, which is called activity according to abilities. Abilities are in a person's mind, not in intelligence. This means that this activity according to abilities will bring money, but not satisfaction. And this is already good because it's also impossible to live without money. What is activity according to abilities? A person has already gotten used to working, gradually develops an understanding of where they will be effective, and gets a job there and becomes effective there. This means that money starts coming in and the person is valued and loved there. Everything works out for them, but they feel that they get very tired there, and in their heart there isn't much satisfaction from this work, but there's no other option. Because you are at such a stage of development, work where you have money and endure. Now you'll say, I want to work in a way that's interesting to me, and for it to be a purpose of my life, maybe not the highest purpose, but some purpose. I want it to bring satisfaction to my soul. Then you should know one very serious thing about yourself. As long as you think that money is the main thing for you at work and you want a lot of money, it means you won't jump from the stage of abilities to the next stage. Because in order to reach the stage of purpose and unfold in work, to become talented and developed as a person, then in this case, you must first understand what intelligence is, because intelligence is such a function that puts people above oneself and sets the goal higher than money. Like in one fairy tale, the main character is asked, "What do you want more in life, money or happiness? Answer this question. If you answer correctly, I'll give you gold." If a person wants money more than happiness, then they will never jump to the next stage, which is called a person's purpose. To want happiness more than money, you need to have developed intelligence. You must learn to live not for yourself. For this, you must sacrifice yourself in your life so that you do what suits you very well, and so that you can give all of yourself in this activity. One man tells me, "Dr. Torsunov, I also give lectures. Let's talk as one lecturer to another." We stepped aside. He says, "How do you promote yourself? Where does the popularity come from?" I tell him, "I don't promote myself at all." He didn't believe it. Social media or what? What's the mechanism? The mechanism is this. You need to give away your lectures for free and want to give happiness to people, not take from them. When you manage to do this, then you'll have popularity. He says, "Can you explain it differently? I don't get it." I explain differently. If you're a doctor, learn to heal people. After that, they will come to see you. What will they feel? That you will help them. And until that moment, you won't have popularity. He says, "How do I learn to heal people?" I say, "For this, you need to not want money from them, but give them health." He says, "That's difficult. You need to practice." I'm telling you about the transformation from a professional lecturer to a person who can change people's lives. These are different things. I tell you this from the position of my specialty. This is a state of human consciousness. And this state of consciousness can be changed through one's work, or you can go through this path faster. For example, my grandfather, not my own but my wife's, he really loves his work. And he no longer works in his specialty, but teaches other people, because he has reached this stage. He loves his work, started working for money, but then he simply worked because he loves people. He wants to bring some benefit, and people see this, and he doesn't even work in his specialty anymore. Because they chose him as a senior. Everyone wants to learn from him. This is already the last stage of a person's development. The first stage is hobby. We're not talking about the couch potato state. That's not a stage. A person doesn't know what to do at all. He's nothing. A man needs to do sports, then he needs a hobby. This is the first stage of activity. The second stage is work according to abilities. The third stage is work according to one's nature, when a person's intelligence becomes strong and he places people or his life's mission above money. And the fourth stage is called mentor or master, a person who simply gives himself to people. He no longer works in his specialty, he teaches others and becomes a senior for everyone. Few people reach this stage. You need to have very strong intelligence for this. A person then is not motivated by money at all. He simply lives for people and that's it, and people themselves support him. Listen to me carefully. Intelligence can be developed not necessarily through work. If a person works on himself, if he reads prayers, if he changes his life, then his intelligence gradually transitions to such a stage where he realizes where he should work in order to get happiness from it. And he gets the strength for it. Let me give you an example. A young man approaches me and says, I teach yoga and I'm in sales. I like teaching yoga. Why don't I make money from it? Is it my hobby or my purpose? I tell him, this is your purpose, not a hobby, because a hobby is when a person does only what they like, but others don't need it. I'll explain this now. You will now learn what the difference is. Purpose is when you do something for others. He says, I teach yoga for other people. I like that they become better, healthier. Why don't I have money? I say, because you don't have enough strength of intelligence for this. Therefore, you'd better focus on sales now and teach yoga in your free time, because you won't make money from yoga. He says, when will I make money? I say, when you become strong as a personality, when you attract people to yourself, then you will make money from this activity. Not necessarily one's purpose can only be teaching, for example. There are 4 purposes, 4 categories. We will talk about this tomorrow. Today I'm just telling you about this transformation which doesn't happen immediately. I have an acquaintance who is a lecturer, whose fate I will tell you about. I won't mention his last name, he is a very popular lecturer now, but I met him when he wasn't even a lecturer yet. I met him when we were driving together in a car. He told me, Dr. Torsunov, I was a teacher. I taught children. I really liked teaching children, but there came a moment when I had no money. I had to open a workshop and make fur coats. I just sold fur coats. Now I dream of finding someone who will take over this workshop instead of me, and I will teach children even if there is no money from it. This was 15 years ago. This was a conversation in his car when he was taking me to the airport. Now this person has become a popular lecturer. He teaches the art of raising children, and everyone loves this person very much. Try to understand, this person went through his journey, and at the moment when he was talking to me, he had already found his purpose, but he didn't yet have the strength to earn money from it. The transformation is gradual. A person will still have to work according to their specialty, according to their abilities, even if they already know their purpose. Because their intelligence must become strong to have money from their activity. Otherwise, how will they live? Let's say a person's purpose is to be a leader, but he is in sales. He is not a leader, he is just engaged in trade. For him to become a leader, he needs to develop himself so that people respect him, so that he can feel people, can discipline them, so that he knows the laws and so on. All this requires the strength of intelligence, and this strength of intelligence will definitely develop in him because it is his nature to be such a person. He just hasn't grown up to it yet. Now you will ask, can a woman be a leader? She can. Can a woman be a teacher? She can. Can a woman unfold her nature? She can. But first, a woman must become a woman. She shouldn't be a man in order to unfold her nature. Because when a woman establishes herself in her personal life, her intelligence becomes very stable, strong, and able to act correctly. Because if a woman doesn't establish herself in her personal life, and if a man doesn't establish himself in activity, then the following happens to them. Listen to me carefully now. Establishing a personal life for a woman means that she has become closer to God. First, the highest goal is what makes a woman a woman. The highest goal in life makes a man a man. Without the sun, a plant cannot be real. If it's greenhouse grown, it's weak. The sun is God. When there is faith in God, a woman becomes a woman, a man becomes a man. A woman comes to me and says, Dr. Torsunov, what's going on? I get a job, work there, I like everything. Then either I leave on my own or they fire me. Then I get sick after this job. I can't work there because I get tired. What is happening to me? I explain to her that a woman is like a river. Whatever she wants in life, that's where she flows. If a woman wants to work but not a family, then her entire psyche flows into work. This means that her female energy channel, Ida Nadi, on which all her health and beauty depends, her whole life, gradually loses strength. And the Pingala Nadi channel, which has a male nature, strengthens. As a result, her psyche begins to collapse because the whole body needs love. As a result, a woman without love feels strong tension at this job. At first, she likes to work because it suits her. Since she lives in work, not in family, her psyche is depleted and she enters the second stage. The second stage, I'm getting tired. The third stage, I'm fed up. The fourth stage, I'm leaving. And you will say, can these stages be avoided? No, because you are directed towards work. This means that you are directed to where you will perish. If a fish is directed towards the shore, it will dry up there on the shore. Can this be avoided? No. A crocodile can only be strong in water, and an elephant can only be strong on land. Therefore, in water, the crocodile is stronger than the elephant, and on land, the elephant is stronger than the crocodile. Do you understand the system? If a woman doesn't live her personal life, she cannot be stable at work, because it's not her environment. There she dries up. It's not her living environment. Her living environment is personal life, family, children, husband, love. There she grows stronger and becomes powerful. This is her living environment. If she doesn't have this environment and her focus is only on work, then hormonal functions will be distorted and her beauty will fade away. And all other areas of life will suffer. Without strength, the woman is essentially atrophied. She cannot exist normally. She stops believing in herself. She thinks that she has some kind of curse in her life. There is no curse, you just chose the wrong direction in life. As in the song, you left your native shore, but never reached another one. Because there is no other shore, you only have one shore. You have a female body, and you must live in it. You don't need to change anything. Live with what God has given you. Otherwise, it will only get worse. Once I was walking in Thailand. I came there on business. I saw a girl walking, but I can see the subtle energy body. From a distance, I saw a man walking. From afar, I could see that person had male, subtle energy body. But when that person approached, I saw it was a girl. That person had the subtle energy body of a man, but the appearance of a girl. Cross-dresser. What does this mean? That means that the person has gone a bit off track. Well, they cannot be happy because their subtle energy body is male, but they pretend to be a woman. It's impossible to live normally like this. The subtle energy body reflects the physical body. Whatever the subtle energy body is, the physical body should be the same. That's the problem. Don't try to make a tank out of a flower. So remember, ladies, in order for you to work well at your job, you don't need to quit your job and you don't need to get married. You just need to understand how a woman's psyche is structured. If you set yourself up for something, your river of life will flow there. According to the Vedas, a woman is like a river. Set yourself up for family life, and then you will easily go to work. You will work without tension, you'll feel good there. Work for you is neither here nor there, but when they tell you, listen, you're doing really well, let's promote you. You answer, I don't want a promotion, I want things to stay as they are. Well done, because you understood that you are a woman. When there is a family, there is stability in life, then you can take a promotion because you have support in life, you have a lot of energy. The source of your energy is your family. But now, while your home is empty, don't go for a promotion, don't put more energy into work, don't work yourself to the bone. Because your river is flowing in the wrong direction, your river is drying up, becoming sick, unhappy, exhausted, and then you'll quit this job because you were carried in the wrong direction. Now about men. For a man, on the first place is work, and women on the second. That's how a man is built. His work comes first. What is a woman's main problem in life? What determines her quality of life? What drives her in life? What does she lack the most? What does she suffer from the most? She suffers from a lack of harmony. She doesn't like imbalance at all, and therefore fear is her main problem, the problem of her existence. Fear of disharmony, fear of imbalance, fear of the absence of kindness, tenderness, warmth, stability. A woman needs balance, harmony, stability, and this is the most important thing. It's a catastrophe in her life when she doesn't feel that all this exists. She suffers very much. And what does a man lack most in life? What does he suffer from the most? What does he strive for the most? A man lacks achievements and victories the most in life. His catastrophe is that he doesn't feel like an accomplished person. He doesn't feel like a person who is needed, valued, who is in demand, doesn't feel like a winner, doesn't feel strong, influential, capable. Therefore, a man will always strive for victory. It doesn't matter whether he wants it or not. He may lie on the couch, this aspiration may be dormant in him, but in his psyche, the idea that he must be a winner will still live. He must be the main one, must be strong, must be intelligent, must be responsible, must be talented, must be in demand, must be successful. This is what a man strives for. His psyche is directed toward success, and he will never be able to live without it. This is his main problem in life. A person must solve this main problem. What gives a woman the greatest stability in life? Family. And what gives a man the greatest development? Work. A man sits at home and says, when I find myself a good job, one that I like, then I will work. This is incorrect thinking. For a man to find a good job, he needs to take any job. When he sits at home, he destroys his life. A woman, on the contrary, should strive for personal life, because when she strives for work, she destroys her whole life. What happens to a man who has gotten comfortable with his mother or gotten comfortable with his wife? He loses himself, he becomes lazy, weak-willed, starts drinking, sex takes over his existence, he becomes constantly obsessed by sex. He can no longer live with one wife, he needs other women. He becomes lazy, weak-willed, weak-charactered. He develops bad habits. This is how a man loses himself, having made home the basis of his life. He has become attached to this home, sits there, and doesn't want to go anywhere. When a man works from home, that's different. This happens in the modern world. I'm talking about something else, when he doesn't want to work, but his wife works. He just wants to drink, wants to sleep, wants to eat, wants to have sex, doesn't want anything else. This means that the person is losing himself. You see, when a man puts family above work, he loves children, loves his wife, loves to cook, loves to clean, loves to do laundry, loves everything related to personal life. This leads him to degradation. He becomes a drunkard and a debauchee. This is a diagnosis. He becomes like this because this is not his environment. His female energy channels are strengthened, the male ones weaken, and his body becomes degraded. Such a man even suffers in his hormonal male qualities. He develops premature ejaculation or impotence. Such a man simply loses himself. What to do? First, the man needs to be put into sports. Then he will go to the garage or go fishing, engaging himself in activity for pleasure. As soon as he starts doing this, don't keep him there for long. Throw him out to work, because the time has come when he will be able to work. If he's gotten comfortable on the couch, he won't be able to work right away. Such a sharp change might give him a heart attack. Don't throw him out to work right away. He's not ready, not capable of working yet. First, you need to send him to a sports club. And after the sports club, send him to work. As soon as he starts going to the sports club, he says, "Oh, I'll go fishing." That's it. It means it's time for work. If he already has enough strength to go fishing, it means he has the strength to go to work. From this moment, a woman can help. A woman can help her husband or her son, who has also become lazy and doesn't want to do anything, still living off his mother at 25 years old. A woman comes to me and says, "My son is 25 years old, he still doesn't want to work, doesn't want to study, sits at home, I can't do anything with him. Dr. Torsunov, I'll do whatever you say. Please help." I say, "Will you really do everything I tell you?" "Yes, what should I do?" I say, "Kick him out." She says, "Dr. Torsunov, you see, he'll starve to death. He can't do anything." I say, "I understand, but you don't understand that this boy won't starve to death. He will simply become a man." She says, "Well, how do I explain to him? Tell him that I'm kicking him out?" "No, you need to say, 'I'm giving you the whole world,' and then kick him out." And indeed, you will give him the whole world in this case. Ladies, look, when you were getting married, your husband was strong, powerful, right? Well, a bit wild, somewhat unpolished, but strong, right? And then, when he started living with you, he became a soft boy, right? This is how female energy affects a man. So ladies, don't overwhelm your man too much with feminine affection. Don't bewitch him too much, you understand? He melts from this. He becomes weak. And you don't need him like that anymore, right? Therefore, take care of your men. Love should be given in measured doses, otherwise you'll lose your man. The same with your son. You think, "You're my sweetie," but your sweetie has become not a sweetie anymore, but a lazy couch potato. In general, the system is the same for women and for men. It's just that women do it through creativity, men do it through sports, but the system for any person is the same. This doesn't mean that a woman should become a man, but activity is the basis for developing intelligence. A woman is active in a feminine way. She loves everyone, takes care of everyone, organizes everything. Everyone likes such a woman. In general, she behaves actively in life. A woman, therefore, will easily find her purpose in life. A man should help everyone. You can rely on him and lean on him. So he is so active that he will do whatever is needed, help everyone. He loves his work. Even if his work doesn't give money now, it will soon. Because in this active work, his understanding of where he can be more successful unfolds. Gradually, he transitions to the stage of work according to his abilities. Money starts coming in. Then he says, "I'm getting tired at this job. It's hard. I feel bad there. There's money, but no happiness." It means you need to learn to pray and develop as a person. Learn to control your desires. Start following a daily routine. Start working on yourself, developing your intelligence. The time will come, and the truth will be revealed in your heart. Where your path in life is, how to act in life so that your heart rejoices that you are doing useful work. But most importantly, remember, if a person does not strive toward God, if a person does not strive toward conscience, if a person does not strive to live pure and elevated life, they will have no strength and no opportunities to develop. Because a plant can only grow toward the sun, so a person can only grow toward morality, only toward purity, and only toward God. There is no other possibility to become better in this world. If a person has no higher purpose in life, all other goals will not be achieved. Now your questions. I hope that I have covered today's topic. Tomorrow we will talk about the types of a person's purpose, meaning we will talk about types of intelligence and how a person is designed. What paths are there for a person in their achievement to do something useful in life? There are only 4 paths. Your questions, but only on this topic. Your question, young man.
Good evening. I have 2 questions. How to choose just one activity, not just one hobby, but several that we really like. How to choose which one to pursue now.
Let's do this. What activities? List them.
Everything related to work, what I want to do for work.
List them.
Security.
Let's continue. No need to elaborate.
So it turns out, civilian work, military service. In civilian life, for example, coaching. Also esoterics, but not too much.
Which of these gives you money now?
Civilian work. I work as a programmer. I like that too.
It gives you money.
Yes.
This is your ability. Establish yourself there. That means you're still far from your purpose. You understand?
And if the time frame is compressed?
Are you dying soon or what?
I'm 33 years old, and I need to start military service.
So do you have to sign a contract or not?
Time is passing.
Your question. You are now on the verge of some serious decision, right? And you need to decide where to go next. If you make a decision, how many more years will you need to serve under the contract? Let's say you decided to continue working as a programmer. Will they force you to stay there for a long time or what? What's the problem?
Everything will be simple there. I can just switch to another job.
Don't leave while you have stability there, but it's difficult for you there. You feel that you get tired there. Your ability is there, your purpose hasn't developed yet. You see, you could be a good teacher or scientist. Your work is now tied to money. You mainly think about this, and therefore as a person you are at the stage of development, at the stage of abilities. This is your development now. And if you leave there, you will lose money, and that means losing support in life. You will feel undeveloped, helpless, unhappy. Therefore stay there and develop as a person. Do everything else in between. The time will come when you will see that money comes from other activities that are more related to your work as a scientist. But this work may also become your purpose. You will start to really like it, and your life purpose will unfold there.
Dr. Torsunov, I have a second question.
Listen carefully to this conversation, and some things will become clearer to you on today's topic.
Is military service right for me? As a calling. I just don't like civilian life as much, and I've been thinking about this for a long time.
You see, he's not talking about the job itself now, but about the mission. This is the development of intelligence. He's now searching for his mission. He has a job programming, which is often associated with the first type of people, the scientist type. There are 4 types: scientist, leader, businessman, and artistic person. He has the nature of a scientist. But he is now at the ability stage. He earns money there. He's thinking now, if I feel that military service is right for me, then I will stay in this activity and I will be good there. Everything you're saying is correct. You're now searching for your mission and you're trying to understand where to dedicate yourself, to whom to give your life. But understand, until you found this mission, you can't make decisions artificially. There's only one way out: develop as a person and stand on the platform of intelligence. So become a strong person. You will have a stable daily routine, you will have prayer, you will have strong willpower, you will understand the higher meaning of your life. And on this platform you will be able to dedicate yourself to some activity that would benefit the world. You understand? Then the activity that you do will acquire a different meaning for you. You will do it with dedication, joyfully, happily. The most interesting thing is that in the end, this activity will give more money, because people will like it more in you. You will be more valuable to them. But you cannot do this artificially. A chick cannot become a swan before its time. At first, an ugly duckling doesn't understand its purpose. It thinks it's not a swan, but dreams of being a swan. And it is actually a swan, just hasn't grown up yet. Don't make yourself a swan before your time. Develop yourself. The time will come you will become a swan.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
Excellent. Good conversation. Your question, young lady, in the first row. These questions are needed. They reveal the topic deeper. We are beginning to put into practice everything we talked about.
Good evening, Dr. Torsunov. Thank you for the lecture. My question is this. I am now facing a choice: to go into business and build some business of my own.
What do you do now?
Now there is an option to open a kindergarten.
Do you have a husband?
The divorce process is going on now.
Maybe you should focus on your family? Start to pray not to get divorced?
Well, there seems to be nothing to save there.
Now I'll explain to you. A person stands at the edge of a cliff, they might fall. And they ask, Dr. Torsunov, which running track is better for me to run on? You don't need to think about which track to run on right now. You need to move away from the cliff now, because you are currently in a state of being lost in life. That's why I asked you this question about family. I see it. I see that the ground is crumbling beneath your feet, and you're talking now about something that requires enormous strength from a woman. You're saying, Dr. Torsunov, I want to lift weights. Which weights should I lift? And I'm telling you, you're standing on the edge of a cliff. You can't lift weights now because you'll fall into the abyss. You won't have enough strength. You need to first resolve your personal life issues and become strong in your personal life, and then move on to what is undoubtedly right for you. You are a manager by nature. This is your nature. But your nature cannot manifest itself now because you won't have enough strength for it. A woman's strength is in the family just as a crocodile's strength is in water. An elephant's strength is on land. Become strong, gain stability in your personal life, and then start your own business.
Okay, I think I need to work too now.
Work somewhere, earn money. This is called abilities. Don't make big plans. It's best to work as a manager for someone else so that you don't have a lot of responsibility. But if you're doing something significant, you must have stability in your personal life. There is no stability now. The projects you have in mind will be destroyed in a very simple way. When you start doing them, you will get very tired of it all. Why? Because you won't have ground under your feet.
It's a complicated story, a difficult divorce. It seems like I've already closed it. I already have a new relationship.
Remember one thing, to start a new relationship you need to go into the old ones. If you don't try to save the family or don't try to make amends for what happened, then there won't be a new relationship. In other words, if a woman left her husband and says, Dr. Torsunov, how do I find another man? I explain to her that there is only one way back or a path to the desert, even if there is another man. Why? Because God will not give a new relationship to a person who breaks the relationship that God created. If you broke what God created, then you will live with this broken relationship. How to meet another man? Let's say you already know that you won't return to this husband, and he already knows that too, but then you must make the way back through repentance. You must cleanse your heart of this act. You committed a certain action which is called cruelty towards this person, who now stands between you and your new fate. You must first make amends for what happened until the person you are separating from feels kindness towards you. And when this happens, you will be able to live happily with the new man. Is it clear? And if you do this prematurely, then there will be forces acting in your life that can destroy your family. And I even know what this force is. If you don't make amends, your close person will have a long journey, a trip somewhere destined by fate, and you won't want to go with him, and so you will destroy your second family. And now, if you do everything right, it won't happen in this form. And how it will happen, see for yourself.
Thank you.
A question about purpose? When women listen to how I predict, as they want predictions, they don't pay attention to the lecture. They use me as a reference machine. Should we do this way or that way, Dr. Torsunov? Nothing else interests them.
Thank you for the lecture, Dr. Torsunov. I worked in a bank for 11 years and held a management position.
Banking suits you.
I earned well. I left there 3 months ago.
Are you married?
Married, yes. At the moment, I have a new business, and I can't work. And literally 3 weeks ago, I started working in a new field. I feel like I'm torturing myself. I can't fully understand where it's better for me to move in my career.
Okay, this is a technical question. It's not about purpose, but about a person's effectiveness. I can tell you that work related to finance is much better for you because your fate is better there. Your nature is to lead a confectionery, a billiard room, or activities related to the planet Venus, or to pleasures. All this activity is more related to hobbies. That's where your pleasure is, your happiness, but there's no money there. You understand?
I don't want to go back to the bank.
You don't necessarily have to go back to the bank. There are other options to manage something related to finances. If it's your own business, you will be very successful there because it's your nature. You will feel like a fish in water. And the confectionery, billiard hall, and everything else, you like it, it's all great, but there's no money there.
Is that bad?
It's not always necessary to ask Dr. Torsunov, because there are cases when he won't say anything good.
I'll think about it, thank you. I would also like to conduct training in the future.
If these training sessions are related to finances, then you'll be very successful.
Thank you.
All right, my dear friends, our time is running out. Now I'll tell you something important. We will now practice together. At the end of the lecture, we follow this sequence. First, we repeat, "I wish happiness to everyone," along with some prayer. Then I throw oranges at you and give you flowers. And after that, which doesn't happen everywhere, only here, there will be a concert. This is the sequence of events we'll have now. And now listen to me carefully. Jokes aside, listen. The fact is that a person's fate lives in memory. There is only one type of memory that overcomes fate. It's the memory of God, or of those who think about God. Now we will do the following. We will listen to those who pray. People will sing a prayer. This is the Our Father prayer in Aramaic, the language that Jesus Christ spoke. I'm not a Christian myself, but I like this music, so I play it. We will repeat, "I wish happiness to everyone," and think strongly about those who pray, repeating in their mood, "I wish happiness to everyone," thinking about them. Therefore, thinking about them, we will gradually detach from ourselves. When a person begins to think about God, distracting from themselves, and establishes themselves in this memory, the events that torment them in their heart begin to melt first, and they feel that everything will be fine. It seems like self-suggestion to them, but it's not self-suggestion. This is the first stage of victory over fate. First, the feeling that everything will be fine appears in the heart. If your husband leaves, you can talk to him. The second stage is influence. You continue to pray. Not only does it feel good in your heart, but you can also talk calmly with the person who insulted you and whom you couldn't stand before. At the second stage, you can influence and communicate, and he can talk to you. And the third stage, he already wants to come back. There you have it. Your fate has changed. Practice remembering God, not your own life. The more a person remembers their own life, the more it falls apart. The more they remember God, the more everything falls into place in life. Let's practice, literally 6 to 7 minutes. Thank you very much. I wish all of you happiness, love, knowledge, all the brightest things in your life.